Section 3. Navigating legal pitfalls for buyers in foreclosure or short sale transactions. Objective. This section focuses on the legal challenges that buyers may encounter when purchasing distressed properties, such as foreclosure or short sale properties, and how they can mitigate these risks. Special emphasis is placed on title issues, clearing liens, and the laws governing property inspections and disclosures. Title issues and clearing liens. Working with title companies to ensure clear ownership. Title issues and liens in foreclosures and short sales. When buying distressed properties, buyers often face significant legal challenges related to title issues and liens. These can affect the buyer's ability to fully own and enjoy the property once purchased. Understanding how these issues arise and how to address them is crucial for any buyer of a distressed property. What is a title issue? A title issue occurs when there are legal claims, disputes, or defects that can impact the transfer of ownership from the seller or foreclosing lender to the buyer. Common title issues include unpaid liens, mechanics liens, incorrectly recorded property boundaries, and property disputes with other parties. How liens affect distressed property purchases. Liens are claims placed on the property by creditors or other parties to secure repayment of a debt. When a property is sold in a foreclosure or short sale, the buyer needs to ensure that all existing liens are cleared, or the buyer may be required to pay those debts. Example: if a distressed property has a mechanics lien due to unpaid contractor work or an IRS lien for unpaid taxes, the buyer might be responsible for settling these debts unless the liens are addressed and cleared before the sale. Common types of liens on foreclosed properties. Mortgage lines. These liens are primary to the property and are typically cleared in foreclosure, but a second mortgage line or junior lien may not be, leaving the buyer responsible. Property tax lines. Unpaid property taxes are often not discharged in foreclosure, and the buyer may inherit these liabilities. Mechanics liens. If contractors were unpaid for work done on the property, a mechanics lien may be filed. Judgment liens. These liens arise when a court orders a debtor to pay a creditor but does not pay the judgment debt. How to work with title companies to clear liens. Title company's role. A title company ensures that the title is clear of any issues before closing and provides title insurance to protect the buyer from any hidden title problems. Title search. Before completing a transaction, buyers should hire a title company to conduct a title search. This will identify any existing liens or encumbrances on the property. Title insurance. Title insurance is essential in protecting the buyer from any future title disputes or undiscovered liens. The insurance ensures that if any issues arise after the sale, the buyer is covered. Example: if a title company misses a lien in its search, title insurance can help cover the costs of resolving the issue. ARS statutes related to title issues. ARS, paragraph 33(8)11. Addresses the trustee's deed upon sale in Arizona, which transfers ownership of foreclosed properties to buyers. It is important for buyers to ensure that the trustee has complied with all legal requirements and that any liens that were supposed to be cleared by the foreclosure have been addressed. ARS, paragraph 33(8)14. Covers the foreclosure process and outlines the responsibilities regarding lien clearance during non-judicial foreclosures, trustee sales. Laws regulating property inspections and disclosure. During distressed property sales, property inspections and disclosure requirements for distressed properties. When purchasing distressed properties, particularly short sales or foreclosures, buyers face heightened risks due to the often deteriorated condition of the property. In these transactions, it is crucial that buyers understand the legal framework governing property inspections and disclosure practices, legal requirements for disclosures in foreclosures and short sales. Short sale disclosures. In a short sale, the seller, usually the homeowner in financial distress, is required to disclose any material defects in the property that they are aware of. However, in a foreclosure, the lender may not have the same knowledge of the property's condition, as they may have never occupied it. Example: if a seller or lender knows about severe mold damage, structural issues, or plumbing problems, they are obligated to disclose this information to the buyer before the sale. Property condition in foreclosures. Foreclosed properties are often sold as is, meaning that the buyer agrees to accept the property in its current condition, regardless of the defects or necessary repairs. Example: a foreclosed property may be in poor condition due to neglect or damage, and the buyer is responsible for conducting their own inspections to assess the property's condition. Required inspections for buyers. Home inspections. While foreclosure properties are often sold as is, Buyers should always conduct a thorough home inspection before purchasing. Inspections can identify hidden issues that may not be visible to the naked eye, such as foundation cracks or electrical problems. Example: a buyer could purchase a foreclosed property only to discover after moving in that the roof needs to be replaced, costing thousands of dollars in repairs. Specialized inspections. In addition to a standard home inspection, buyers may want to conduct specialized inspections for issues such as mold. Properties that have been vacant or abandoned for a while may have mold or mildew problems. Pest infestation. Foreclosures can sometimes have pest issues, such as termites or rodents, that are not immediately obvious. Foundation or structural inspections. If the home shows signs of shifting or cracks in the foundation, it is critical to hire a structural engineer to assess the damage. Buyer's legal right to inspect. ARS statutes on inspections. While Arizona law does not mandate specific property inspections, it is generally understood that buyers have the right to conduct an inspection before finalizing the sale. The Real Estate Commission provides guidance that encourages transparency, and sellers, including lenders in short sales and foreclosures, should not withhold information that could affect the buyer's decision to proceed with the transaction. Potential issues with as-is sales. Buyers should be aware that as-is sales do not provide the opportunity to request repairs or price reductions based on inspection findings. ARS statutes. Related to disclosure, ARS, paragraph 32(21)53, requires real estate agents to ensure that property disclosures are provided to buyers, including any material defects. ARS, paragraph 33(7)40. In cases of foreclosures, this statute allows buyers to purchase foreclosed properties, but they must accept any existing issues unless otherwise agreed upon by the seller, lender. Example of legal considerations. Example: a buyer purchases a foreclosed home for $120,000, believing it to be a great deal. After moving in, they discover significant issues like a leaking roof, faulty plumbing, and electrical wiring that doesn't meet code. Since the sale was as-is, the buyer has no legal recourse against the lender unless the lender or seller knowingly misrepresented the condition of the property. Key takeaways: title issues and liens. Buyers of distressed properties must ensure that the title is clear of any liens or encumbrances. Working with a reputable title company and securing title insurance is essential for protecting the buyer from unexpected financial burdens. Disclosures and inspections. Buyers must understand that while a foreclosure property is often sold as is, they still have the right to conduct inspections. Sellers or lenders must disclose material defects they are aware of, and buyers should perform thorough inspections to identify hidden risks. Legal framework. Arizona's anti-deficiency laws and disclosure statutes protect buyers by requiring the accurate disclosure of property conditions and ensuring that they are not unfairly burdened with hidden costs. By following these guidelines and working with professionals, buyers can minimize the legal and financial risks involved in purchasing distressed properties, ensuring a more secure and informed investment. Understanding the risks of as-is sales and the potential legal consequences of undiscovered issues. As-is sales in distressed property transactions. An as-is sale is a type of sale where the buyer agrees to purchase the property in its current condition, without requesting any repairs, adjustments, or warranties from the seller. This type of sale is common in distressed property transactions, especially in foreclosures and short sales. Key points of as-is sales. No repair requests. The buyer cannot ask the seller to make repairs to the property. If any defects or issues are discovered after purchase, the buyer cannot typically demand repairs or compensation from the seller. No warranty on condition. The seller or lender, in the case of foreclosures and short sales, offers no warranty regarding the condition of the property. This means the buyer assumes all risks associated with potential problems. Property condition unknown to seller. In the case of foreclosures, the lender may have never lived in the property and thus may have little to no knowledge of its condition. For short sales, while the homeowner may be aware of some issues, they may not be able to make any disclosures due to financial constraints. Risks for the buyer. Undiscovered structural or mechanical problems. Example: a buyer purchases a foreclosed home for a lower price, thinking it's a great deal. After moving in, they discover that the foundation is severely cracked, and repairs will cost thousands of dollars. Since the sale was as is, the buyer cannot request that the seller, the lender, fix the problem or lower the price. Legal risk. Buyers may be financially responsible for repairing significant issues that they did not initially notice or that were hidden by the seller. Hidden environmental or hazardous issues. Example, after buying a short sale property, the buyer later discovers that there is mold growing behind the walls, causing health concerns and requiring a costly remediation process. Legal consequence, the buyer, in an as-is sale, cannot hold the seller or lender responsible for these undisclosed issues. This can lead to costly repairs or health problems for the buyer. Title issues or liens. Example, a buyer purchases a foreclosure property thinking the title is clear, only to later find that the property has unpaid liens, such as back taxes or a mechanic's lien from a contractor. Legal consequence. If the title is not cleared properly, the buyer may become responsible for these liens. In some cases, they could even face legal action to settle these unpaid debts. How to protect yourself as a buyer. Title search and title insurance. Ensure that a title company conducts a thorough title search to identify any existing liens or claims on the property. Title insurance can protect the buyer from financial loss in case any undiscovered issues arise. Property inspections. Although as-is sales generally prevent buyers from requesting repairs, having a comprehensive inspection done before purchasing is critical. This can help identify hidden issues and provide an estimate of the cost of repairs. Disclosure requirements. While the as-is sale limits the seller's responsibility, the seller or lender may still be required to disclose known defects, especially if they are aware of specific issues that could materially affect the property's value or habitability. How foreclosure auctions and short sales impact property rights and buyer obligations. Impact of foreclosure auctions on property rights and buyer obligations. When a property is sold at a foreclosure auction, buyers must understand that they are purchasing the property with certain legal implications and obligations. These include title concerns, the state of the property, and the risks associated with prior liens or debts. Key legal issues and obligations for buyers at foreclosure auctions. Buying property. As is. Example, a buyer at a foreclosure auction purchases a home for $150,000, but once they take possession, they find extensive water damage and mold growth. The buyer was aware of the as-is nature of the sale, meaning they cannot demand repairs or a reduction in price. Legal obligation. Buyers at a foreclosure auction must accept the property with all its faults and legal encumbrances. This means no repairs will be made, and any issues with the property must be resolved by the buyer after the purchase. Priority of liens. Example, the winning bidder at a foreclosure auction might think they've purchased a clear title, but discover that unpaid property taxes or a second mortgage lien still exist on the property. Legal consequence. Depending on the auction rules and the foreclosure process in place, some liens may not be extinguished by the foreclosure sale. This means the buyer could be responsible for settling these debts, which could be substantial. Eviction risk. Example, after winning the auction, the buyer attempts to take possession of the property only to find the previous owner still living there. The buyer must then go through the formal eviction process to remove the former homeowner. Legal consequence. The eviction process can be time-consuming and costly. In some cases, the buyer may have to initiate legal action to regain possession of the property, adding unforeseen delays and costs. Impact of short sales on property rights and buyer obligations. A short sale involves the homeowner selling the property for less than the amount owed on the mortgage. While the process is often more buyer-friendly than foreclosure, it comes with its own set of legal issues and obligations. Key legal issues and obligations for buyers in short sales. Approval from lender. Example, a buyer may make an offer on a property involved in a short sale, but before they can move forward, the lender must approve the sale. This can lead to significant delays and uncertainty. Legal obligation. The buyer cannot assume they will automatically get the property after making an offer. The lender must approve the price and the terms of the sale, which may not always happen as expected. Debt forgiveness and deficiency judgments. Example, a buyer purchases a property in a short sale, and the lender agrees to forgive part of the homeowner's debt. However, the buyer should be aware that the homeowner may still face a deficiency judgment if the lender does not fully forgive the debt. Legal risk. While the buyer may not be directly affected by the deficiency, the homeowner may face future legal obligations. If the lender pursues a deficiency judgment, this could complicate the homeowner's financial situation and affect the overall transaction process. Possible title and lien issues. Example, a buyer might find that the property they are purchasing in a short sale has unresolved liens or title issues. These could be related to unpaid property taxes or contractor claims. Legal consequence. The buyer could be left responsible for these unresolved issues if they are not properly addressed during the short sale process. Buyers must ensure that all potential liens and title issues are cleared before proceeding. ARS Statutes and Foreclosure, Short Sale, Legal Framework, ARS, Paragraph 33.8.1. This statute defines the process for foreclosure sales and how they affect title transfer. It clarifies that once the property is sold at auction, the ownership is transferred to the winning bidder, but this may come with title issues if liens are not fully cleared. ARS, Paragraph 33.729. This statute provides protections against deficiency judgments after a foreclosure sale of residential properties. It is important for buyers to understand how this statute may apply to short sales versus foreclosures, as it provides protection from owing additional money in certain situations. Key takeaways for buyers. As is. Sales. Buyers should be prepared for the reality of buying distressed properties as is, without the ability to request repairs or modifications. Conducting a thorough inspection is critical before purchasing. Title and liens. It's essential for buyers to work with a reputable title company to ensure that the property has clear title and that any existing liens are resolved or acknowledged. Legal implications. Understanding the risks associated with foreclosure auctions and short sales is crucial for buyers, particularly with regard to lien priority, eviction risks, and the potential for delays in closing. Government and legal support. Buyers should be aware of the legal frameworks in place to protect their interests and consult with legal professionals to navigate complex transactions involving distressed properties. By being informed of these risks and obligations, buyers can approach the process with greater confidence and minimize their exposure to unexpected financial and legal pitfalls.